everybody. Welcome back to Dr. Cammie and Karen Go Keto, where Dr. Cammie and I are on our way to transitioning to a carnivore, ketogenic lifestyle from a standard American diet. I told Cammie I wanted to start and do the opening, and apparently the cough is not as suppressed as I thought. So I will have Cammie take over from here, and I'm going to go and run and get a cough drop.
Okay, hi everybody. Karen and I were talking before we started taping today about how I am doing carnivore diet. I'm on a GLP-1 agonist. I'm Zep bound 2.5 milligrams low dose that I started, I think 2 weeks. I think today's day 14, March 8th. And I've been doing great with my eating. I've been doing really well with cravings. Yesterday was the first day that I felt a little nauseous and didn't really feel like eating. But today I felt really good today. And I went out to have lunch with some girlfriends from the place where I live. And we went to Black Angus restaurant and I proceeded to eat some onion rings. I ordered a bacon cheeseburger, lettuce wrapped. I didn't really eat the lettuce, or I worked around the lettuce and the tomatoes and the onion, and I ate the hamburger patty with the bacon and the cheese on it. But I did eat some onion rings. They came quite a few, and I gave a bunch of them away to people. But I ate about 4 onion rings, and I did dip a little bit of ketchup in them. And so Karen and I were talking before we started taping about why I do this. And so we're going to have a discussion about that. And we're going to talk about integrity, and we're going to talk about goals, and we're going to talk about your purpose. What is your purpose? And so when Karen asked me why I did this, the first thing I said was I wanted to belong. It feels to me like a belonging. And we decided that was like a bullshit excuse, and that really there's something deeper underneath there. And so we're here to kind of continue our discussion about that. And one of the things and the other thing that I said was that I want what I want when I want it. And so I have this voice in the back of my head that does all these things to try to get me to eat off plan. And most of the time, especially when I'm home by myself sick with a cold, which I've been for the last like 5 or 6 days, I don't have to really worry about what's out there to eat because I don't have anything in my house to eat that's not on my food plan, except for decaf coffee, which I'm pulling off of that. I'm drinking like 2 cups of decaf coffee a day. So I got some of the caffeine out of my life, but not all of it completely. And I'm struggling with that. So that could be another conversation too. But part of me just feels like I'm not going to be able to be on plan all the time. And that's an excuse, because people will forgive me for that. People will say, well, you're human. You're going to go off plan. So part of me likes to use that excuse too. But then part of me really wants to have more integrity around my word and be more committed and have more purpose. And I think it's also like what you really think you're up to. Because if you really do feel like 100% you're up to eating a carnivore diet, then you wouldn't be eating onion rings, because those aren't part of a carnivore diet. It's like when I decided I was going to be pre-med and when I was going to become a doctor. I worked on that really hard, 24/7. It's not like sometimes I was going to do that goal and sometimes I wasn't. I was going to do it the whole time. Okay, wait, I got a cough too.
So I think that what you've said so far is very instructive. I think you hit the nail on the head. When you want something really bad, you can commit to it fully. And you are human. You won't always eat a carnivore diet. But this goal right now is to transition to a carnivore diet. A lot of people, they have their things, right? Some people think that they shouldn't be drinking coffee with cream, but they still drink that. Right? Some people smoke cigars, which that might be carnivore, but I don't think it's one of the number one healthy things to do. Some people still have alcohol, but we know that your goal is not to eat onion rings. And so the question is, and we know this channel has talked a lot about tools to keep you on the straight and narrow, and you don't use the tool.
I didn't use them today. Right.
Yeah. So that would possibly help you if you wanted to not eat. Well, let's put it this way. So there's a thing about you, Cammie, that you feel you're a better person because you're sharing with others. That's the whole thing about the chocolate that you bought for the guy that you ended up throwing away, right? You were being very magnanimous by giving him this lovely chocolate. You were being very kind to your people that you were eating with by giving them the onion rings. I'll share my onion rings with you. Or are you doing it because you don't want to be kind and you want to say, save me from myself? You take some of these onion rings off my plate.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's really a way of me to feel good about myself that I'm giving to others. I think that that's a way for me to use an excuse. I wasn't originally planning to give it to others, but then when they brought them, there were so many. I was like, there's no way I'm going to eat all these. And it would have been very hard for me to leave some on my plate. I don't know if I would have, but I probably would have, because there must have been like eight or nine onion rings on there, because I gave away like 4 or 5. I gave away
So it's funny that you have the conversation, an internal conversation that says, there's no way I'm going to eat all of them, but I will eat some of them.
Yeah, because I have to tell you that, I don't know how much my heart and soul is in my carnivore diet. And I
Yeah.
think I think that's what is, the crux of maybe what my issues are, because it's been very hard for me to be doing carnivore and not losing weight right away. I didn't lose weight right away. I gained weight
Yeah.
a lot, like 13 pounds of weight.
Yeah,
Now
but
there was
you never did carnivore for 30 days.
right.
I mean, everybody says, to give it a chance to get some benefit, do it for 90 days. You didn't even ever do it for 30 days.
And I'm still not apparently doing it for 90 days unless I'm going
Yeah.
to start counting over again.
Yeah. So I would,
But it's hard for me to understand how I could go 90 days, for example, and eat onion rings once and then continue to gain weight on carnivore. I think that's just the way that my body might be. And I just don't know if I'm patient enough to sit through 2 years, I don't know. I'm making stories. This is what I do. This is my new revelation. I
yeah.
live by I live by a series of stories.
So I can tell you this. I know that you don't feel like eating the onion rings supported you because of how you answered my questions about them earlier. There was shame and guilt around you didn't take a picture and send it to whomever you're supposed to be sending it to. You didn't call out to anybody to ask for help. You didn't journal about it. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't on your food plan for today.
No, it was not. And none of those are going to happen once I get in there and I'm in the situation. The thing that I should have done that would have been very helpful for me, and I know this, would have been to get what I call insurance and call somebody before I went into the restaurant and
And
had a
see,
conversation with somebody before I went in to make a commitment to what I would eat. I don't know if that would have stopped me or not, but it would have helped potentially.
yes, but potentially doing those other things would have helped as well. But more importantly, doing those things, looking at your food plan, eating your food plan, journaling about why you didn't eat your food plan, and not taking the picture and sending it to somebody, right? Those are to keep you from eating them the next time or to keep you from eating whatever you're going to eat off plan next time that's not on your current food plan, right? So,
The other thing that I could have done, because I knew I was going to go to the Black Angus restaurant, and I was really looking forward to that because they have a lot of steak and things like that. I thought, okay, well, that'll be an easy place for me to eat. But what I could have done, and I've done in the past, and it's so much easier, is that I look at the menu before I go in. And then I imagine all this food being around me that's food that I'm not going to choose to eat. And I just sit with that for a little bit. And I kind of psych myself into, I just say, hey, I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to eat that. And that's fine because I'm going to eat this. And then when I go in there, I'm actually excited about what I'm going to order and eat.
yeah,
And I
that's
didn't
like a
do that.
That's like a modified food plan, right? You're making a food plan for, oh, look, I'm going to a restaurant. Let's see what I'm going to eat at this restaurant. And everybody knows if you're on a diet that is a little more limiting, or if you have an eating disorder, you do that. You look at the food in advance. That's the joy of the internet. You can see what the menu is in advance and have that in place so you don't have the temptation. But you bring in a different element to it. And that is you preempt any feeling of not being able to have something. Right. But you've already lived in oh, look, I can't have that. That's on the menu. That's one thing I won't be eating when I go to the Black Angus. I think that's very effective. I think that that's the sort of thing that you should be doing on a daily basis after
Yeah.
you wake up every morning. Look at
Well, it
like
looks like I
create
lost
it
Karen.
in a prayer style. I need strength today to be able to eat this. This is what's on my plan. and talk to your higher power to get the strength to connect with the food that you are planning on eating. And hopefully that will put an awareness somewhere in your brain that says, oh, yeah, I won't be eating those other things.
Right, right. But honestly, there's a rebel in me, or there's a self-sabotager. There's something in me that wants to eat off plan.
Yeah. As the person who likes the taste of food that they used to eat, highly processed, unhealthy food. And so my thought to that is, so what?
Yeah.
The things that you put in place are the things. And here's the thing. That's okay. It's okay that you ate off plan, but you're supposed to be sending pictures to somebody. So you need to clean up that relationship and say, I'm not going to send you pictures anymore, and have that understanding with yourself as to why you don't think that you should be doing that and why you don't do it, right? Because that's the whole thing. You need to get comfortable with the discomfort, or lean into discomfort, so that you can get your overall goal, which is to lose 100. Because you can sit there and look at it and say, well, and I don't know the answer to, nobody knows the future of whether or not you're going to lose weight in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or 2 years. But chances are other things will happen besides that. I find it hard to believe that you won't lose weight. Maybe you could join some sort of group that would help you and support you and be a place where you can ask questions. Oh, wait, you joined Kelly Hogan. Maybe ask a question there.
Mm-hmm.
Be part of the community and say, what's the deal? Or go Google YouTube. Go YouTube, search in YouTube about gaining weight on carnivore, and read all of the comments about people. A lot of people say that those who have the worst autoimmune healing to do don't lose weight right away. Your body's got to be at a place where it's got to become used to a new way of eating.
Yeah.
But you have to get the binging out, and because that's the whole thing about ketosis. Remember, this is part of a ketogenic diet. And as soon as you put in those carbohydrates, until you're fat adapted, meaning you've been doing this diet for a while, like a long while, right? That you can either be in ketosis or not be in ketosis, your choice. As soon as your body gets a little carb, it's going to go back to burning the glucose and not burning fat.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the GLP-1 does for that.
I don't know if it does anything for that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it has anything to do with it affects your insulin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's my recommendation. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. I think I need to get more concrete with who I send pictures to, because I send pictures to more than one person. And I really need to have like an accountability person. And I think that Jeff could probably be my accountability person, because I send pictures to him as I'm eating. Like sometimes, I'll forget. I'll be like, oh shoot, I forgot to send a picture to Jeff. And I'll send him a picture of the last few bites or whatever, of what I'm eating, because most of the time I'm on plan. But I think putting it in my mind that, hey, I'm taking a picture before I eat, I'm saying a prayer before I eat, then I can eat, would help me too, just to be more accountable in that way.
And create something that says, and I want to do this because I know that these are the things that will stop me from doing the things that I really don't want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. And I thought about that today after I ate the onion rings and I was driving home, and I wanted to go eat other things, but I didn't. I thought about that. And then I thought about how that's going to help me reach my goal and how it's not going to help me reach my goal. So I came home, but eating the onion rings was not something that is going to help me reach my goals. All right.
So what else did you eat? You just had the burger?
Yeah. And I had the carbonated soda.
Oh, yeah. So if everybody recognizes that Cammie is ill and I'm getting off being ill, I did not give it to her because she is 1,800 miles away.
But we still get to see each other.
And somehow we still ended up getting it together. All right, everybody. Have a great one. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye.